All right. So my name is Valentis, and I'm gonna speak about Bomberspar today, and precisely the history of Bomberspar, or the history of explosions. It is a 10-year history so far already. And I don't know, what do you guys know of Bomberspar? Come on, shout it out. What do you know about it?
We kill supercarriers.
Yeah, we kill supercarriers. All right, fair enough. Well, a lot of people don't know what Bomberspar is. We are the first NPSI community because some guy there made up the term NPSI. I think it was derived from the ProviBlock NDR stuff. And we are a channel, an in-game channel. We're not a corporation, we're not an alliance, we don't do political stuff. We're very Nubro friendly, and anyone can join that channel, and everyone is welcome there, even if you're a spy. We don't mind. A common misconception is that you're required to shoot your blues, but it really doesn't matter with 100 bombers if there's 3 people not shooting the target because they're their friends. You can just warp off and cloak up, it doesn't matter. You don't have to shoot anything. Unfortunately, we require all of our pilots to have a covert ops cloak, because otherwise you can't cloak, and that's the whole point of our spiel. And we started in 2009, and hopefully will never end, but you never know. Also, the drugs and nuclear weapons stuff is more like a suggestion, it's not a hard no-go. We started out really humbly. If you can see what's wrong here in this kill mail, the fitting is old, so it doesn't show, but there was a fitting. But if you see what's wrong here with this bombing run, he basically killed himself, and that's how it all started. It started earlier than that, but that was the first bomb run. And that motivated him to learn from other players and invite them all to his channel, whoever wanted to come. And that's how it slowly grew. And yeah, everyone told him that's a crazy idea to invite random people. You can't trust them, and bombers are no good for any PvP. A lot of people had very negative notions about that stuff. And 1 year later, he killed with 20 bombers 120 test drakes, and that was back then something noteworthy. Now it's not anymore, but back then there was the shit. Mostly they did gate camps in the beginning in those free systems. And in 2012, they already had regular fleets. They started using more recons, like the Falcon, and they started the first real ping system, like professional ping system. Other groups has used them too, but they really had a naming scheme, and everyone knew what they were doing and on which position they were. They also did jump bridge bombing, which was a lot of fun. You're gonna see really soon, and hot drops. And yeah, that is also the time when they didn't go to random TeamSpeaks. They had one specific Bomberspar TeamSpeak, and it's always the same. So if you take a break for 5 years and you come back, you go back to the Bomberspar in-game channel, you can go back to the TeamSpeak and just start asking people what has changed, and you're back in the group. So since all this data and stats is boring, we're gonna listen to mainly what it felt like to be in Bomberspar in 2012.
Let's go! Get those fucking bombs out! Red group fire! Gold group stand by! Gold group fire! Come on, boys! Get those fucking bombs out and bounce! Blue group fire! Come on! Fucking sweet! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Blue fire!
Try buying that with ISK. I dare you. So that was, if you guys don't know, that was Templeman. He was also the person who was the awesome voice in the This Is EvE trailer. And it wasn't all rosy later on. In 2014, there was a big split from FCs, and I can't really tell you the story because if you ask 10 people, you get 15 different opinions on what exactly happened. But basically, some FCs split off from Bomberspar to do non-cloaky stuff, and that's how Spectre Fleet was born. And, well, basically Bomberspar created already 2 big NPSI groups. When I came into the game, Templeman was on one of his breaks. In the beginning, I was on one bombing run that got me hooked, but then he was on his breaks and there was nothing to do, and then a very, very incompetent pilot started seeing really small fleets to start it up again, the whole Bomberspar channel. And it was really slow in the beginning, but then the This Is EvE trailer had hit, and only watch the uncensored version, it's much better. And we started to grow again really fast. And that introduced the Age of Whaling. Fozzie changed some game mechanics, so you had better chances to get a direct low to nullsec wormhole connection. And Johnny Pugh made a video about it. I watched it. I talked to Templeman about it. And soon the idea was born to use those wormholes to get behind enemy intel without letting them know, without there being a fleet of 100, or, well, back then maybe 50 people. And the term whaling is actually from Bomberspar. It was on the fleet where it first was said. It derived from the obsession of Templeman about killing carriers. He was so fixated on it that people compared it to Captain Ahab in the book Moby Dick. No, Templeman didn't read the whole book. And Thera got out at about the same time. And we used that to a great extent to use more wormholes, go into more different areas. If one area was dead, we would go somewhere else and kill people there. And we had our first 100-man, I think it was 120, 150, I don't know, first 100-man fleet in conjunction with an incursion group from HiSec. And it steadily grew from there. You don't have to. We also created, in that time, Obamacare. And Obamacare, what it basically is, we collect all the loot from our victims, we sell the loot, we put the money in the Bomberspar holding corp for FCs, and then if some person dies, as you can read below, they write someone, and then they get ISK sent towards them because they lost their ship. Makes it much more affordable for very new players for whom 30 million might be a lot. After that, we expanded the whole wormhole system with moving into a C2 with a nullsec static. That is the wormhole that is always going to give you a guaranteed nullsec connection, and you can destroy that wormhole with pushing heavy ships through it, and we did that very fast to go to regions that seemed active. And that way we got more targets, we killed way more carriers, rorquals, capitals of all kinds, and that was a lot of fun. And we got our first Titan kill there too, by mistake. And yeah, like some rolling accidents happen. That basically means that someone is left outside the system where we want the fleet to be, and they have to walk a really long path back. And Bomberspar doesn't have a lot of impact in nullsec anything. We just do it for fun. We shoot everyone approximately equally. And there is some butterfly effects, though. Sometimes a little kill of one rorqual can have big effects, almost as if Bomberspar had killed 7 Titans in one row and destroyed 2,000 clones. So the story behind this kill mail is, we kill this guy in his rorqual. It's nothing special, it happens all the time, almost daily on our fleets back then. And his CEO, or whatever he is, a big FC in PL, called Rageliner now, he shouted at this guy so hard that this guy took it really to the heart. and was really angry about it, and he destroyed a lot of clones and ships that were in production. A lot of worth was killed just because of that one single insignificant bomber spar kill. So sometimes there is butterfly effects that are about to happen. Another one of those butterfly effects is the Good Sax Keepstar. It might not be very well known, that fight, but it was pretty embarrassing for test. There was basically a small group that has lived in Stain for ages. There are around 30 characters, or 30 people maybe even, and they defended against, I don't know, 1,000 people of goons. They attacked with carriers, with supers, and on paper they didn't stand a chance, but they informed Bomberspar about it, and we wiped the Jackdaw fleet off, and there's a really nice short clip about it that I can't show you, unfortunately, today. We also bombed the test maelstroms, and at the exact same time, it was not coordinated, the Doomsday from the Keepstar had hit the maelstroms. It looks beautiful. And of course, the big MTech-O fight, you might have read about it in the news. It was one of the biggest fights ever. CCP Falcon made a really nice page about it. And there's a lot of stats that he put on these fleets. And they were pretty funny for Bomberspar because we killed almost half of everything that was killed in that system. And there was almost 2,000 bombs launched in that fight. And most bombs were shrapnel bombs. And those are the ones that Bomberspar used. So we really bombed a lot out of that system. And it's probably the biggest bombing run that anyone ever has done, or the biggest bombing runs in concessions. And also some people told me you can't bomb Mecharials that are really hard armor tanked. Well, you can. I don't know if you guys want to see it.
Red one aligning.
Blue aligning. They are not aligned.
Gold one is landing now.
Black one is landing.
Landing.
Wing one. In 3, 2, 1. Wing one fire. Wing one fire.
Prepare for damage numbers.
Wing 2 fire. Wing 2 fire. Wave 3 fire. Wave 3. Everyone who didn't bomb, get your bomb out and fucking warp off. Fucking god, this is so beautiful, guys! This might be it.
Man, holy shit.
Goodbye, Mac fleet.
Got a kill report.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
No, but I think you broke one of my headphones, dude.
Holy shit, that's a lot of wrecks. Guys, and there's still bombs, they're gonna get potted.
Bounty payment, bounty payment, bounty payment.
More bounty
payments.
Well done, Wave Tree.
Bomberspar sends their regards. You guys take the fleet work. Just aim to the center of them. Just aim to the center of them.
That's MSN.
I can feel their tears.
Fuck yeah, we did it again!
Whoa, fuck.
Say bye-bye from Bomberspar in local.
Decloak fire, everyone, decloak fire. Just focus on getting the bomb out and warp off.
This is gonna be beautiful.
Holy shit, some of them are still zero velocity at sea. Oh my god. Oh fuck.
More bounty payments.
There is still 3 more bombs on the way, and they should destroy them. Come on.
Oh fuck, kill reports coming.
I got
me. Holy fuck, kill reports. Holy shit. 39. Holy fuck, 40. 22.
Whoa.
44. Holy fuck, you guys just made my goddamn day.
That was it. Thanks, guys. That was probably the best fleet I've ever FC'd, gotta say. More luck than knowledge. No, that's not true. But there was a lot of luck involved with tie-dye. That mech fleet, I think they had problems warping away. I kind of liked it. All right, that's almost the end of the presentation. Something that comes up very regularly, more than you would believe, is people saying they only play EvE because of Bomberspar. As you can see there, is Bomberspar a recruitment tool, an EvE recruitment tool, or someone saying that that video made him join the game? It was the same with me. The first video you saw, that was the only thing, the only reason I started playing the game. And I wouldn't have imagined that I would meet the guy, the voice behind it, and that he would teach me, oh, it's great that CCP Falcon is here now. This is gonna be good. I'm gonna go on with the next slide. So Bomberspar has 10-year birthday now. This end of this year. Thank you, thank you. Also thanks to Tomix, who took care of the cake. And, well, we have this crazy idea. We already have 220 signatures, and you should really read the comments, especially if you're employee of CCP. You should really read the comments below that. They basically are begging you to throw money at you. It's true. And there's probably way more people interested in skins like that. We even have some suggestions, but we could work anything out. We have a bunch of designers who fly with Bomberspar who would do it for free. Not even kidding. And CCP, do you see that? How can you say no? Yeah. That was the end of it. Now we're. Thank you, thank you. Now we have time for a little Q&A, so you guys just ask me anything. I might even know it. Do we have a microphone? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, someone is slow.
So,
yeah, you're on.
okay. So you said you basically accidentally killed a Titan on that first one. What is the story behind this? I want to know the story.
It was not an accident, but it wasn't supposed to happen that way. The Titans shouldn't die that way. I think he was ratting or something. And a very small, late US time zone fleet led by Alexa, one of our Hunter FCs at the time, they found it, but they had way too little bombers to actually have enough points to keep it there. So what they did, they had one Stradius that was really a god in bumping that day. And he bumped the Titan pilot just enough. Also, I think he was asleep for 5 minutes. But that was our first Titan kill. We got a bunch more now, but it's hard to keep track of all the numbers, and we really don't care about the numbers. As you saw before the video, and then the video, the numbers aren't that important. Who cares about kill boards or anything, even though after bombing run it looks really nice. Is there any more questions? You're gonna get a microphone. There we go.
Which one of the 4 bombers you think deserves a buff the most?
A buff? That's a hard question because CCP Fozzy and the Phoebe change nerfed all of them, nerfed the warp speed, that hurt a lot, thank you, and the alignment time, but I think probably the Manticore. It's good for Nubro ship because it has more fitting space and the fitting skills aren't good for Nubro, but the Manticore isn't really that used that much at the moment. But the Manticore could use a buff, it's on the lower, and the Nemesis just doesn't have enough fitting to be as good as the amount of mid slots should be. But other than that, I think they're pretty okay. I think some of the Phoebe nerfs could have taken back after there was MJD Desis and the anti-bomb launcher defender missile. Oh, a funny thing, that Jackdaw fleet that we bombed away, the FC, he left the game for a short time after that. Because he relied on defender missiles, but he didn't think through the whole mechanic enough, and we just bombed. Any other question? Don't be shy. There we go.
Do you think it would be a good idea to have something like surgical bombs, like there is with surgical
Yes.
bubbles?
Yes.
Which do more damage on a smaller space?
Yes, yes. We have theory crafted and brought up the idea about capital bombs, something like focused void bombs, but with a little bit more spread. So you could, if some people blow up with capitals, it might not kill them, but it might hurt them just enough. But it's hard to do it in the mechanic without being OP against subcapitals, so you have to adjust it to the radius of the ship.
Yeah, maybe
But
something like...
I think it's definitely possible, and I think CCP Fossey is also kind of not against that idea. I just don't think it's high on the agenda, but it would be so great. We would love it to death. But we would also love Bomberspar skins.
Thank you.
How do you feel about the statement that Sino changes, in fact, created Bombers Online?
Yeah, not just Sino changes, but also how people defended their stuff. If they would defend more with subcapital, with competent subcapital fleets, there would not be that many bomber groups trying to take it out, but it's just a matter of the state of the game. It doesn't really have to do with bombers too much, but it's a bigger meta issue.
So what's the most expensive bomber you lost yourself?
Me, myself? Oh, probably a polarized one, probably around 120 mil. Not that much. We had a fleet member, though, that lost a 8 billion bomber once. He was just really rich. He used to be in Goonswarm, but then he got, bored. And he was very rich because of it, and he just put everything into PvP, and that's what he enjoyed. So, next one. Who has more questions? We got a microphone. I have all day time. I'm just kidding.
So if no one wants, I have a question. You showed us a picture with a cat.
Yes.
So it's your fault that there exists a card game named Exploding Kittens?
No, it's not our fault. We don't have anything to do with that, but we like explosions. Not necessarily on kittens. But something is exploding, you're kind of torn apart, right? Any more questions? Yeah, we got time, I think.
Did Blackout have a positive or negative effect for Bomberspar fleet?
I think in total, maybe even a negative. It depends, but it's just for all people who are interested in PvP, especially small gang PvP, it was a blessing. And a lot of people have way more fun. So Tonya pointed out in a stream that there is 3% more total PvP in nullsec, even though the numbers might not be as high. It might not be all capitals all the time. It might be really small skirmishes, but it's just way more fun for the game in total. And I'd rather have a Blackout and a little less capital kills, but a lot of smaller engaging that might be more meaningful, because if you have 5 bombers against 5 targets and 3 recons, then it's still more interesting than if it's 100 or 150 against something. I like the Blackout, I love it. And I think it's ballsy of CCP to do, and they should continue. So, more questions. We got time. Can't think of anything? I can answer anything. Varian, do you want to ask about the bombing run we did on Spectre Fleet one time, and where you guys streamed and then we cut it together and had it from 2 perspectives? No? Okay. Just asking.
You have no proof that that was us.
There's a video online. Google Annihilation. Annihilation in 2 perspectives. I'm just kidding. What? Oh, wasn't it Maelstroms? Oh, you mean when? Oh yeah, I think it might have been Maelstroms. It was definitely Tech 1 battleships, and you can hear the Spectre Fleet FC. Yeah. You can hear the Spectre Fleet FC saying, "Don't worry about the bombs, don't worry about the bombs."
Yep, that was the Maelstroms.
Oh, were you in the fleet? No, okay, then it's fine.
I take no responsibility.
You shouldn't. You have more questions? Oh, there we go. Oh, he's asking if we ever do bombers associated with jump destroyers. Yes, they're called Stuka fleets. Bomberspar does them too sometimes. Yeah, definitely, yes, we do it. And it's a lot of fun. You have more degrees of freedom, or create more possibilities in the combat. So especially for the FC, it should be more fun. And for the fleet as well, because you can do different stuff than you usually can if you just do hit and run tactics. All right, any more questions? Yeah, over here. There we go.
The question is, do you need anything particular to be seated on the Terra market for Bomberspar?
Oh, you can. We have a Discord server. You're happy to ask in our logistics channel. I think that might be open for public. If not, just ask in general. Willing to do logistics. Basically, how everything works in Bomberspar, the community does it for the community. So just volunteers like yourself. They say, hey, I can do this and that. What do you think? Do you need this? Do you want more bombs here or more bombs there? And then we just organize it amongst ourselves that way. Thanks, it was a great question. Yeah. If you don't have a microphone, I have to repeat the question.
Is there anything planned for the 10th birthday, like a big fleet or something?
Yes, we're planning it. It's not announced yet, but we're planning to bring in Templeman, for example, and other people, probably around December we want to do it. That's when a lot of people have time, especially a lot of the old Bomberspar people, the first 5 people, for example, they're hard to reach. They have family and kids now. They don't play anymore. We're trying to sneak them in just to have some old memories, like a campfire thing with more explosions. Any more questions? Oh, there we go. Run, Forest! Run, Forest!
And what do you think? How many active people are actually like scouting and doing recon stuff for Bomberspar right now?
How many active people? Oh, that's always hard to tell, because in one week one person might play, other week another person, but you mean anything other than a bomber? Support people? Yeah, I think that might be around 100 people, maybe, at times. It depends. It's really hard to tell. I have no idea. But it's a bunch. More questions? Just raise your hand. And nope. Oh, there we go.
If you are on a Bomberspar, can you stream it?
Oh yeah, it depends on the FC, if he allows it, if he has like special things he wants to plan out, secret stuff that nobody should know about, then no, but mainly you can stream it, you just have to put a delay on it. We also have on our Discord a streaming channel where any streamer can post this stream that it's gonna go up to get a little more advertisement for themselves, even if it's not about Bomberspar or PvP, doesn't matter, anyone can just use it. We even have Johnny UK, who's very known amongst the streaming community. And Suetonia is going to come on our fleet next week, he told me, if he has time, but he should make time. So, any more questions? All right, perfect. Then thank you a lot for the attention and the applause. It's been a pleasure.